morning, people. How are we doing? It's me, Marty, your host. It's the Morning Night Live. Got a little beats in the background there. We're ready to go. Got a bunch of stories. You know, the daily thing that we do here. And I'm seeing some names that I don't see that often. So that's exciting. It's nice to see people dropping in. Although what's weird is it's not showing up on my concurrent viewers page here. But, you know, whatever. It's flowing. It's going. I'm showing and not mowing my lawn. So those things rhymed. Hey, welcome to the Morning Night Live. Let's play the intro so we can get this thing going. And bing! Ladies and gentlemen, coming to you live from the Lucky Dog studio in a hidden location somewhere in the upper Midwest of the United States of America, it's a brother making his own way but with all the wrong opinions. Welcome to the Morning Night Live with your host, yours truly, PDawg Knight. And stop the music. Hey, everybody, welcome to the Morning Night Live. It is Wednesday, hump day. You know how that goes. It's May 20th, 2020. 2000 effing 20. And I'm so happy that you are here. For those of you who may be here for the first time or not here that often, make sure you subscribe to the channel because it's an exciting place to be. And you know how it goes. So today it's kind of one of those little bit of a mishmash kind of days. Just I found some interesting stories and we'll go through some of them like we always do. We'll check out the Twitter trends. And I even have an economics lesson today. Now, I know some of you maybe took some economics class in high school or college or, you know, or somebody in the past taught you how to count money to, you know, back as a cashier or something. So you guys, it's one of those days that, you know, you're going to get a special lesson today, but I promise it's not going to be one of those stodgy, boring economics lessons. It's actually quite, I don't know, stimulating. That's a good word for it. Stimulating. It'll be a stimulating economics lesson on the Morning Night Live, and it's the kind of stuff that I know that you come here for. So, shall we get started? Well, you know, one of the things that we do, which I forgot to do my damn soundboard. Anyway, one of the things we do here, we like to do in the morning, is say good morning to everybody who's in the chat before we get going. And let me make sure that the most important sound on the soundboard is ready because, you know, I don't want this to be one of those where I click a button and I look like a... What do you guys call me all the time? Boomer? Boomer? I got your boomer right here. But, you know... here, let me make sure I got this one right too. See, slowly doing it. So let's see who was here first today. I didn't even notice. Oh my goodness, it's our friend Renee Mayette who gets the bell. Hey, and it worked. Good morning, my friend. Also, good morning to D.I. Freighter Watcher, Donatello, Slap a Fellow, Richo, my friend from Down Under, James Crow. That's a new one. Good morning, Advocatus Diaboli, the Devil's Advocate. Good morning, Katie Did Skate, Gunfight 61, No Room for Squares, Chicago J, yo, or excuse me, Chi-Town J, I should say. Yo. Good morning also to, I'm scrolling, Tyler F, Merle Davis, Amy in Connecticut. You know, oh, wait a minute. You know what? It just dawned on me. The other day I was talking about states that I've never been to. And I've been on the East Coast. The states that I hadn't been to were Massachusetts or Maine, Vermont, New Hampshire, and I said New York, but I've been to New York dozens of times. But I've never been to Connecticut. I've been to Delaware. I've been to New Jersey. I've been to New York. I've been to Virginia, and you know, what else on the coast? South Carolina, North Carolina. I've been all up and down the coast, but I've never been to Connecticut. I'm going to have to fix that. So, anyway. Oh, Massachusetts. I've never been to Massachusetts either. So that makes it 10 states, 9 states I haven't been to, not 8. Oh well, I messed up. Anyway, good morning, Amy in Connecticut. That was quite the aside there. Also, good morning to, let's see, hey Larry, what's up? Good morning, Stabbing Joe Scarborough, Smarty Bear. Let's see, Molly Mags 53, Big Assassin. Now that's what I don't see that often either. I think I've seen it once before, but good morning. Also, good morning to Select a Boy. Also, good morning to Jack Fernstrom. Let's see, I'm scrolling. There's a lot of people here. Sean DW. I could have sworn I saw. Oh, Dharma Puzel. Good morning. How you doing? And did I miss somebody? I know I saw Black Hebrew Israelite in here somewhere. Well, I know you're there, so there you go. Wow, Jay Wolf, City Rochelle. The gang's all here. I'm missing people left and right. Green Badger Outdoors. CNN sucks. Yes, CNN sucks. This is CNN. So anyway, all right. Now, hopefully the soundboard will work. I'm kind of just playing off the skin of my teeth here. You know what? Maybe I will fix these because there's a couple I got to use today. I know that. Especially, well, I'm not going to use Why You Always Lying anymore because I keep getting contest strike. Well, not copyright strikes for Why You Always Lying. I'm going to have to cut that up so it's not so recognizable or something. I don't know what I'm going to do because I like making sounds. That's all. Which is weird. And by the way, if you have any things I should add to the soundboard, I will be adding a few things. Plus, I'm going to add a couple commercials to the soundboard that are going to be pretty cool. Well, not cool, but just because I need to make my shilling spiel a little more succinct because I kind of ramble on. I don't have a script for it really. And wait a minute, Big Assassin. I work second shift, so normally not awake. Okay, well, cool. Well, the replay always shows on YouTube, and I'm glad that you are here. I know a lot of people came over from Hard Bastards channel in particular, aren't always up at this time. I know when I used to watch Hard Bastards in the morning and in the afternoon, but he used to stream a little bit after me. So I could watch that, and it's usually almost a whole different crew of people who watch it at the different times. So it's interesting that happens. So anyway, I think I've got that out of the way. Is my mix for this side one done? Okay, I got the last one here. All right, so done doing my producer work that I should be doing before I get on the show. Good morning, Cynical Lindsay, also. And Duck Dog, fuck your face. Oh my God. That's a little aggressive there, Duck Dog. All right, let's get into it. Today, the headline or the name of the stream is, I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter. Now, if the first person in the chat who can tell me what that's from, or, if you can give me the particulars on the words, I'm going to sit right down and write myself a letter. It's something that I remember not from my childhood, but something that my mother brought to my attention when I was a kid. So if you know what that is, put it in the chat. It just does not work. I don't know what that means. Gun Fox, what is Amy, no, it's not really a state. It's a country of mass that says it's a state. Okay. Anyway, if you know what that is, oh my God, we like to use skullfuck around. What the hell are y'all talking about in the chat? Talking about skullfuck. Okay, so if I was monetized, that would be the end of the monetization of this stream because I swore in the first 10 minutes. All right. Who is Rice? No. I know you know who. No, not. Okay, never mind. All right, let's get into it because what the hell I do? Shit. Oh, I put it in the wrong order. Okay, here we go. Well, let's start today with we're going to talk a little bit about Susan Rice. That's not what the sit right down and write myself letters from, but it's a song. Jay Wolf, you are getting there. It is a song. Who knows who sang it? Well, at least who made it famous. I'm pretty sure. Well, okay, it is a song by Nat King Cole, I think, sang it or made it famous. I'm gonna sit right down and write myself a letter, dude, and to make believe it came from you. And my mother would play that song all the time when I was a kid. It was one of her favorite songs. Anyway, all right, let's get into it. Susan Rice wrote herself a little letter on the last day. Judy Garland. Anyway, on the last day of the job as President Obama's national security advisor, she wrote herself a little letter, a little email. Where is the music? You can't hear the music, Maniac? Okay. Oh, you can't hear the music. Here, there we go. Thank you for reminding me, Maniac Man. Today it's just some mellow beats behind the whole thing. What the hell's a bomber? CNN sucks. Huh? Okay, bomber? What the hell's a bomber? Is that like a boner, but in Massachusetts? I don't know. All right, so let's. This is silly. So anyway, Susan Rice wrote herself a little email on the last day of the job of the Obama administration, and that just happened to be the day they were having a meeting about something that was it January 5th? I don't know. Here it is. Breaking. They declassified Susan Rice's email, and it confirms that Michael Flynn was personally targeted in the Oval Office meeting. Hello, this is Kyle. Michael Flynn was personally targeted during a crucial January 5th, 2017 Oval Office meeting arranged by then President Barack Obama. A newly declassified document shows on January 20th, 2017, as President Donald Trump was being inaugurated. Yes, right while he was being inaugurated. Former White House National Security Advisor Susan Rice sent herself a bizarre email detailing the January 5th meeting between her, Obama, then Vice President Joe Biden, then Deputy Attorney General Sally Yates, and fired former Federal Bureau of Investigations Director James Comey. In the email, portions of which were not declassified until recently, Rice recorded that Flynn, who at the time was the incoming national security advisor for Trump, was personally discussed and targeted during the meeting with Obama. And here's that email right there. Now I'll just go through the article is going to make it easier to read for me, so I'm just going to read it from the article. A quote. From a national security perspective, President Obama said he wants to be sure that as we engage with the incoming team, we are mindful to ascertain if there is any reason we cannot share information fully as it relates to Russia. At the time, the Obama administration was actively spying on members of the Trump team as part of its crossfire. Excuse me. I have my reparations coffee and it's not working. But I will take a sip and it is delicious. As part of its crossfire hurricane investigation against Trump. Comey said he does have some concerns that incoming NSA Flynn is speaking frequently with Russian Ambassador Kislyak, Rice wrote in a portion of the email that was only recently declassified. Comey said that could be an issue as it relates to sharing sensitive information. President Obama asked Comey if Comey was saying the NSC should not pass sensitive information related to Russia to Flynn. Rice continued. Comey replied, potentially. Comey added that he has no indication thus far that Flynn has passed classified information to Kislyak, which they had. Oh my God! You know they have the recordings of all the calls and know that he didn't. Lying sack of shit, Comey. See, he's a dirty bastard. The email did not explain how it would be unusual for an incoming national security advisor to converse with foreign leaders ahead of the new presidential inauguration. Many observers believe the calls between Flynn and Kislyak were little more than pretext to hide the Obama administration's spy campaign against Trump from the newly elected president's team and justify a continued inquisition against Flynn. Jonas Pedersen, how you doing? Good morning. Documents previously released and declassified show that the FBI never possessed any evidence that Flynn was a secret Russian agent or that he had broken any laws. An FBI electronic communication closing the agency's counterintelligence investigation against him, which was dated January 4th, made it clear that no derogatory information about Flynn had been obtained during the months-long investigation of Flynn. The Department of Justice recently determined that an ambush FBI interview of Flynn, which later formed the foundation of former special counsel Robert Mueller's single charge against Flynn, had no legal basis. Contemporaneous handwritten notes from the FBI's top counterintelligence official at the time show that the FBI's goal in targeting Flynn in early 2017 was to, quote, prosecute him or get him fired. The DOJ is currently in the process of dismissing all charges against Flynn, citing rank corruption and abuse of power in the FBI's campaign against Flynn. And if you want, you know what? Here's what I'll do. I am going to put a link to the declassified email in the chat, and you can look at that yourself at your leisure some other time. There you go. There it is in the chat. All right, moving on. Speaking of the very short-lived National Security Advisor, Michael Flynn, who has had some issues with the United States government. Flynn, wrong one, there we go. Michael Flynn has asked the D.C. Circuit to dismiss the case and replace Judge Sullivan. I think Sullivan is a partisan hack. But anyway, Michael Flynn's lawyer filed a petition with the U.S. Court of Appeals for the District of Columbia on Tuesday, seeking a writ of mandamus to compel a federal district court to dismiss the charges against him, as the Department of Justice requested last week. Sidney Powell, the attorney who took over Flynn's case after his previous lawyers had negotiated a plea bargain, filed the petition, which also asked the D.C. Circuit to transfer the case out of the hands of Judge Emmett G. Sullivan and cancel his request for amicus curiae, friends of the court, briefs, arguing against his dismissal. Sullivan, who had previously asked prosecutors whether Flynn should have been charged with treason. That's not the judge's job to suggest charges. Anyway, balked at letting the case go. He invited amicus briefs from outside groups, including an anti-Trump group calling itself Watergate Prosecutors. He also appointed retired Judge John Gleeson to argue against dismissal and in favor of finding Flynn in criminal contempt of court, after Gleeson's co-wrote an op-ed in the Washington Post, which is, I would call it, what's a good name for it? It's TDS Central. The Washington Post, Bezos, is it Bezos? Jeff Bezos? Wait, no. Jeffrey Zucker. That mother Zucker, his whole, what's a good word for it? What's the word am I looking for? His whole strategy, their whole strategy is to see how much stuff they can write against the president. It's amazing. Good morning, the dead Kaiser. How you doing? How you doing? How you doing? Who does that? That's that crazy lady who has the talk show. Anyway, those moves drew immediate objection from Powell, who has now filed for a writ of mandamus. Her filing states, here's the filing. Oh, by the way, anyway, okay. So here's what her filing says. And by the way, if you haven't been following that, yeah, FTG Sullivan, no doubt. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelites. In fact,
that's right.
Yeah, FTG him. What's fascinating about this stupid case? Good morning, Gamer Blaine. How you doing? What's fascinating about this case is that this judge, during the entire case, when there were people or entities that wanted to write amicus briefs in favor of Flynn, as far as him withdrawing his plea and all this other stuff, the judge was adamant that there would be no amicus briefs. now that the Justice Department is dropping charges, all of a sudden we are looking at, oh, let's bring in some amicus briefs on why we shouldn't. Wait a minute. Well, we already know that there's plenty of precedent saying that if the Department of Justice drops the case, the Department of Justice drops the case. The judge has no say in whether or not they're able to drop the case. So this guy's, I don't know what this guy's, I don't get it. Anyway, Sugar Blue Driftwood, good morning. How you doing? And Dharma Poozle. Did I already say good morning? Who knows the judges anymore, but this Sullivan is a prick. This Sullivan prick is the face of tyrannical crittergy? I don't know what that means. And he needs to be removed ASAP. Oh, yeah, he should be sanctioned for this bullshit. It's amazing. Anyway, so here's the filing by Sidney Powell, and we'll just go through this part of it. The petitioner respectfully requests that this court order the district court immediately to 1. Grant the Justice Department's motion to dismiss. 2. Vacate its order appointing amicus curiae. And 3, reassign the case to another district judge as to any further proceedings. This motherfucker's not, he's not being a referee. He's kind of like, he's like Earl Hebner. Well, no, not, I was going to say Earl Hebner. Like if Earl, oh, no. Remember when they had the Earl Hebner thing and Earl Hebner's twin brother showed up in this ring and there was good Earl Hebner and there was bad Earl Hebner? Well, this was bad Earl Hebner. If you know what I'm talking about, oh my God. God bless you if you know who Earl Hebner is. All right, the second part of this says the district court has disregarded the constitutional imperative of a case and controversy and the separation of powers that invest the power to prosecute solely in the executive branch. In the American system, the parties frame the issues for the decision, while the courts take the role of a neutral arbiter of matters the parties present. The district court has no authority to adopt the role of prosecutor or change the issues in the case by inviting or appointing amici to perform the investigation or prosecution that the court deems appropriate. Less than 2 weeks ago, in Sydenham Smith, the Supreme Court unanimously reversed a similar usurpation by the Ninth Circuit in an opinion authored by a venerable alumna of this court, Ruth Bader Ginsburg. Ruth Bader Ginsburg herself. Oh, New England Patriot. Oh, I see. Okay, New England Patriot referees. Well, I don't know if that's, that's if you're an anti-patriot, not anti-New England Patriot person anyway. All right. Yeah, Ruth Bader Ginsburg wrote the opinion of that one. The district court order appointing an amicus is both unauthorized and bespeaks a disturbing lack of appreciation of the court's limited role when confronted with a motion to dismiss by the government in a criminal case. The government, which has the sole authority to dismiss this prosecution, has presented a well-documented motion explaining its reasons. The government misconduct and Brady violations provide more than sufficient basis for dismissal. An innocent man has been the target of a vendetta by politically motivated officials at the highest level of the FBI. The egregious government misconduct and the 3-year abuse of General Flynn and his family cry out for ending this ordeal immediately and permanently. The district judge's orders reveal his plan to continue the case indefinitely, rubbing salt in General Flynn's open wound from the government misconduct and threaten him with criminal contempt. And in fact, she doesn't even, Judge Sullivan doesn't have even a case for, he was trying to say whether or not Flynn should be charged with perjury. No. Once someone withdraws a plea and goes to a new plea, that they start over. He's trying to say, well, you said in court that you did this and you did that. It was at the advice of his own attorneys. By the way, You know who else they invited? They were saying that one of the amicus briefs was going to be from his former attorneys, not on Flynn's side, but against Flynn. Are you kidding me? Oh yeah, I forgot. Eric Holder is one of the partners in that firm. Well, you know. Anyway, a footnote observes that Flynn's original guilty plea was taken by a different judge, Rudolph Contreras, who happens to be friends with former FBI agent Peter Strzok, who played a key role in the investigation and prosecution, that should say, of Flynn. On Monday, Gleason filed a motion with Judge Sullivan asking to have until June 10th to submit his amicus brief, meaning that the Flynn case could extend well into summer unless his new motion were to be granted. So, yeah, that's some slimy shit. You know what I'm saying? Oh, there we go. First super chat of the day, and also the top donor of the day right now. That would be Black Hebrew Israelite with the $2. That's the top. It's the top one of the day. That means you get the little K-pop chick dancing on the top donor of the day. Black Hebrew Israelite says, this asshole is allowing Flynn's old legal team to join in this brief against Flynn. This was a setup from the start.
That's right.
That's right. Unfucking believable. Anyway, you beat to the punch. That's right.
That's right.
All right. So anyway, greasy, grimy gopher guts. I'm just telling you. All right. Hey, now before we get to America's Gay Hero. Oh, I got to do my shill. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, the Morning Night Live is brought to you by you, the viewers of the Morning Night Live. Please hit the share button or retweet me on Twitter, down there, at PDawg9. If you're not following me on Twitter, if you're on Twitter, follow me on Twitter. And when I tweet stuff, retweet it. You know, a lot of you are really good at that. Some of you, in fact, are prolific at tweeting out the show even before I do. And I think that's fantastic. In fact, Cindy Rochelle, thank you so much for tweeting out the show. Cynical Lindsay, thank you for tweeting out the show. Jay Wolf, thank you for tweeting out the show. Chi-Town Jay, I appreciate you retweeting. You don't know how happy that makes me. And it also helps. It gets people to come see what the hell's going on here. And that's why I always hit the little like thing there. And I often retweet you. But if you want to follow me on Twitter, right down there, Twitter, mine's Gab, at PDawg9, retweet, repost, do whatever. Or you can use the share arrow below. That'll take you, it takes you to a bevy of choices of social media. You can send it out and whatnot. And if you're not on social media, you can email it to somebody, or, you know, I don't know what else. Or if you're on Discord, which, Gunfox, I just realized we still haven't done that Discord thing either. We're gonna set up my Discord. I have one. I just never set it up. Kind of like my Patreon. I don't set up my Patreon yet. It's not really set up for that kind of stuff. Good morning, Will at Forge, by the way. And super chats through the Streamlabs link in the description down below. Also, it's in the chat. It just popped up in the chat there. Look at that. It says Streamlabs super chat link here. So far, the top donor of the day is Black Hebrew Israelite.
That's right.
All right. Let's keep going here. Now, this is something fascinating that I found. Now, most of you know, or if you've been around here a while, you know that my favorite news aggregator is JJ Septon at the Ace of Spades blog, which I've had that on my list of blogs to check out probably since the mid '90s. I mean, Ace has been around for a long time, and has a very good blog. And JJ Septon is a really great aggregator. I found a lot of my stories there. And JJ found this little gem that I'm about to show you. And I'm like, wow, since 2005, they've been talking about this, and this is fascinating to me. Apparently, chloroquine, chloroquine, hydrochloroquine, they've been talking about these, and apparently chloroquine, this is, you know, when the president was talking about hydroxychloroquine and chloroquine over the last few months, and he's been just the pushback from the media has been amazing. Now, granted, there have been conflicting studies. Of course, the one study that they did, the Veterans Administration study, which was people who were far gone and everyone was in their, you know, late 60s and 70s that they tried it with. So it was really hard to determine whether or not that study was even valid. But some studies, there's a study in France that says there are good results with it. There's a study in China that says there's good results with it. And there's plenty of anecdotal evidence. And in fact, the VA has been using it as a kind of a prophylactic against the Wuhan, you know, bad AIDS or whatever we call that stuff. Wuhan virus, COVID-19. I can never remember the name. Anyway, well, this is interesting. From the Virology Journal, published 2005, August 22nd. August 27th, 2005. Back during the SARS issue, which is SARS is also a coronavirus. Well, interesting study here. Chloroquine is a potential inhibitor of SARS coronavirus infection and spread. You mean they've done this before with a coronavirus? Are you what? This study, and it's been cited by other articles. Okay. So here we go. The background of this abstract. Severe acute respiratory syndrome, also known as SARS, is caused by a newly discovered coronavirus, SARS-CoV. No effective prophylactic or post-exposure therapy is currently available. This is one of those. Oh, by the way,
China is asshole.
Just a reminder. No, this is back when SARS was still new. No effective prophylactic or post-exposure therapy is currently available. So the results of this particular study, quote, we report, however, that chloroquine has a strong antiviral effects on SARS-CoV infection of primate cells. These inhibitory effects are observed when the cells are treated with the drug either before or after exposure to the virus, suggesting that both prophylactic and therapeutic advantage. In addition to the well-known functions of chloroquine, such as elevations of endosomal pH, the drug appears to interfere with terminal glycosylation of the cellular receptor angiotensin converting enzyme 2. Jesus, that's a mouthful. This may negatively influence the virus receptor binding and abrogate the infection, with further ramifications by elevation of vascular pH, resulting in the inhibition of infection and spread of SARS-CoV at clinically admissible concentrations. Oh my gosh, this is not their first rodeo with this drug dealing with coronaviruses. Conclusion: chloroquine is effective in preventing the spread of SARS-CoV in cell culture. Favorable inhibition of virus spread was observed when cells were either treated with chloroquine prior to or after SARS-CoV infection. In addition, the indirect immunofluorescence assay described herein represents a simple and rapid method for screening SARS-CoV antiviral compounds. Now, obviously the study is much longer, and I'm not going to read the whole damn thing, but so like I said, it's not the first rodeo. Oh, thank you. We have a super chat from the last name looks like Nelsex. I'm curious of what nationality. That's an interesting last name. Anyway, thank you, A. Nelsex. That says, that's right. Thank you. Is it just you buffering? Oh, are we buffering? Did the thing go bad? Did I go? Is it all done? It looked like it was buffering for a second. Looks like we're good. Excellent connection. No, maybe it is. I don't know. That was a temporary buffering thing. So anyway, fascinating that back in 2005, during the SARS coronavirus, they were testing chloroquine as a prophylactic and post-exposure therapy. Now, it's fascinating too that just a couple days ago, when the president said he was taking hydrochloroquine, and the press lost their fucking minds. It was almost delicious, or not. I don't know. Anyway, let's see. That's that. I'm just going to a couple of things here. Here's just a few headlines I'm going to pop through before I go to the next story. Flashback. Okay, VA secretary. On any given day, the VA uses 42,000 doses of hydroxychloroquine. Now, that's interesting. I'm pretty sure that they use it for rheumatoid arthritis a lot. Anyway, Robert Wilkie said Tuesday that the Defense Department and the VA have been using the drug hydroxychloroquine for decades, and on any given day, the VA uses 42,000 doses of the drug. During a White House cabinet meeting, Wilkie disputed the depiction of a study published last month in the anti-malaria drug, which President Trump has touted as a possible treatment for COVID-19. I want to clear something up that the media has not reported accurately. That was not a VA study. The secretary's comments come one day after Trump announced that he had been taking the drug under a doctor's supervision. Researchers took VA numbers and they did not actually clinically review them. They were not peer-reviewed. They did not even look at what the president just mentioned, the various comorbidities that the patients who were referenced in that study had. I want to echo what the Secretary of HHS said Wilkie. The instructions I received from the president were very clear. That was to preserve and protect life. Those of us who have had a military life, some of us around this table, have been taking this drug for years. As the president mentioned, the Department of Defense and VA has been using it for 65 years. On any given day, the VA uses 42,000 doses of this drug, and what we did when this virus first hit was to use every means necessary to help preserve life, he said. We believe that Congress was right, and the president signed a legislation to protect life. The reason to try? We did this in consultation not only with the families of those veterans, but we did this in consultation with our doctors under FDA guidelines, the secretary said. Thank you, Black Hebrew Israelites!
That's right.
For another $2 in the super chat department, quote, in Jersey, they started arresting gym goers following the demands of his governor executive order be enforced. If this keeps up, you're going to have white people saying, fuck the police. That's right. Yeah, that's if you spend any time around Black Twitter too, there is some commentary on the fact that, now white people are starting to understand. Anyway, they arrested, they went back to that gym. So the other day they went to this gym that had opened, and the police came in there, and the officer's like, well, I'm letting you know that you are breaking this, executive order, yada, yada, yada. And then he just says, have a nice day, and walks the fuck out. Well, the governor of New Jersey, why is my leg bleeding? The governor of New Jersey did not take too kindly to that. And so now he sent different officers back to the gym, I think state police, and they went into the gym, and everyone in the gym was given a citation by this officer. However, there was one person in the gym who refused to give his name. And so that person got arrested. He basically refused to give his name in protest. He went ahead and let the police arrest him. And I got a feeling, I have a feeling that there will be a lawsuit for this. I don't know. It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Obviously, in some places where the courts are not so friendly to these orders, like the Supreme Court of Wisconsin that shot down the governor's continued order there, because apparently going beyond 28 days requires legislation, and he wasn't getting that legislation. There's lawsuits in Michigan. There's lawsuits in New York even. I mean, there's, people want to open up their shit and live their lives, and we'll see how it plays out. I'm not sure how that's going to play out. Anyway, so anyway, this secretary said that the story about the VA was a phony story. So I want to knock down this phony story that is somehow the VA going back on what the president told us to do, which was to use every means possible to protect and preserve lives of veterans. I think this, as the president mentioned, we've seen it in many cases across the country. In fact, I was on the news the day that the governor of New York was asking for tens of thousands of doses. So we are doing everything we can to protect the lives of veterans, and this is one of the means that we use. So anyway, obviously, and it's not the first time. We know it's not the first time now that we've seen an actual study from 2005 during the SARS coronavirus problem. So there. All right, let's move on. I was gonna skip that one. Oh, I found this is interesting. This is one of those things that are unexpected sometimes. And I really don't watch network news. They're all corporate news to me, including Fox, so I don't really pay attention to them. But apparently the owners of CNN and NBC and other legacy media outlets come together in support of Fox News amid a lawsuit. Oh my goodness. This is going to piss some people off. Democrats, liberals, lefties, tankies. Apparently, what owners of major legacy outlets come together Monday evening and filed an amicus brief in support of Fox News' motion to dismiss a lawsuit against them by the activist nonprofit group called Wash Light. The amicus brief, which translates to Friends of the Court, was filed by the Internet and Television Association, NCTA, and the Reporters Committee for Freedom of the Press, RCFP. The two media entities argued against Washlight's claim that cable programmers do not have First Amendment rights. Now, why would they not? What would they even think that? Oh, this is going down in flames. Anyway, since the advent of cable television, the Supreme. I sound like I'm wanting donuts or something. The Supreme Court has explained time and again that cable programmers are protected by the First Amendment, the amicus brief reads, according to a copy obtained by the Daily Caller. NCTA is made up of the owners of major media companies. Members include Warner Media, which owns CNN, and this is CNN, and HLN, Comcast, which owns NBC News, MSNBC and NBC, and Telemundo, and A&E, which owns Vice TV. Similarly, RCFP includes many well-known reporters and executives from publications such as ABC News, CNN, the Associated Press, the Washington Post, the New York Times, and others. Washlight filed a lawsuit against Fox News on April 2nd over the network's coverage of the novel coronavirus. The lawsuits request an injunction to prohibit Fox News from interfering with reasonable and necessary measures to contain the virus by publishing further false and deceptive content. Well, fuck you. Who are you to say? What do they say? False and deceptive content. How are you to say what is false and deceptive? What if their opinions? Are opinions false? If my opinion is my opinion is not false. Anyway, good morning, Mike Savage. Blarg. All right, Monday evening's brief notes that the issues presented in the case are of substantial constitutional significance, and the focus is on Washlight's First Amendment claim against Fox News. The amicus brief reads that Washlight's claim raised for the first time the argument that cable news providers somehow lack First Amendment protection. That radical proposition is plainly wrong. The First Amendment unquestionably protects cable programmers, NCTA and RFCP wrote. A friend of the court filing allows those who have an interest in how, well, you know what friend of the court means. Washlight claimed that this could include the government censoring news. Wait a minute. That's actually important. A friend of the court filing allows those who have an interest in how an issue will be resolved to submit their opinion in the form of a brief. Bundy's brief argues that Fox News is entitled to protection in this case, noting that Washlight argued a case that allowed cable operators to censor indecent programming. Oh my God. MC, what's up?
Hammer time.
Washlight claimed that this could include the government censoring news, according to Law and Crime. NCTA and RCFP said that Fox News is a cable news programmer and therefore has protection under the First Amendment. Even if they weren't a cable news programmer, it doesn't even matter if they're a cable news programmer. Cable programs are people in the public domain speak. It's a First Amendment. It's, oh my God. My head hurts that they even thought this was a smart lawsuit. Anyway, NCTA and the Reporters Committee frequently participate in litigation in courts throughout the country, including in particular to ensure that their members' First Amendment protections are upheld, the brief adds. So good on them for sticking up for their competitor, because that is what we called a bullshit claim. Meanwhile, the Washington Post covers up Obamagate. Which is their right, but it sure makes them assholes, just like
China is asshole.
All right. So this is Jeffrey Lord, who used to be on CNN. He used to be a CNN contributor, but he's contributing to the Daily Caller now. In his memoir, A Good Life, Newspapering and Other Adventures, the late Ben Bradley, who served as executive director, God, I can't even talk today. Served as executive editor of the Washington Post during the Watergate scandal, proudly recalls the paper receiving the Pulitzer Prize for its work in relentlessly uncovering the scandal that had at its center the paper's longtime adversary, Republican President Richard Nixon. Bradley cites this specific salute to the Post from the Pulitzer jurors. The Post, the citation says, quote, mobilized its total resources for a major investigation spearheaded by two first-rate investigative reporters, Carl Bernstein and Robert Woodward. As their disclosures developed the Watergate case into a major political scandal of national proportions, the Post backed them with strong editorials, many of them written by Roger Wilkins, and editorial cartoons drawn by two-time Pulitzer Prize winner Herbert A. Block, also known as Herblock. Nixon famously wound up resigning the presidency in disgrace to avoid certain impeachment, and in the run-up to his resignation, the House Judiciary Committee did in fact pass articles of impeachment, although Nixon resigned before the full House could pass them. For those who came in late, it is worth recalling that Article 1 specifically cited Nixon for endeavoring to interfere with the conduct of investigations by the Department of Justice of the United States and the Federal Bureau of Investigation. Article 1 also cited Nixon for endeavoring to misuse the Central Intelligence Agency, an agency of the United States. The Post editorialized when Nixon resigned about the terrible danger in which his wrongdoing put the nation for as long as it remained undiscovered and uncorrected. What a difference the passage of 47 years could make at the Post! It is as recent days have unearthed now declassified documents that plainly show multiples of Obama officials unmasked. Incoming Trump National Security Advisor Michael Flynn, more detail is added to what was already a scandal involving the Obama administration's abuse of the FBI and CIA. In the words of the Wall Street Journal editorial board, the 2016 and 2017 spying on Trump officials and then leaking to promote a false narrative of collusion is one of the dirtiest tricks in the history of American politics. It's not perfectly legitimate, and the public need to know the full story behind it. And the response of the Post to what critics have quickly dubbed Obamagate? Out comes an editorial titled, quote, "The Absurd Cynicism of Obamagate." Welcome to the Washington Post, in which the paper that received the Pulitzer Prize for investigating a president who abused power of the FBI and CIA now says that when another president, this one a president they endorsed and lionized for 8 years, is accused with evidence of having his administration abuse power of the FBI and the CIA, now there is no relentless Post investigation. Instead, the Post, 47 years after Watergate, Obamagate, is all just one big no, never mind. The now documented charge that the Obama administration abused its power, including committing a federal crime of leaking the classified details of Flynn's conversations and leaking it to the Post, is, well, says the Post, totally untethered from reality, despite the credulous or cynical efforts of senior Republicans and conservative media to advance it. Really? It seems to me like they have some evidence. I mean, like evidence. Not just their, not just Alex Jones in it, right? Whatever you think of Alex Jones. They have the goods. Period. I mean, I've read some of the documents that they've been talking about. It's literally, they've caught them red-handed. Oh, Gunfox. Oh, good luck in real life, and congratulations on having some real life to be calling you. I know if you live in some states, that real life might be postponed. So have a good day, Gunfox, and I appreciate you coming by. Suffice to say, the illegal leak by the Obama administration of classified information to, yes, the Post, is in fact a federal crime. Considering the Post's one-time insistence that all of the paper's resources be poured into a relentless investigation to find out what Nixon knew of Watergate and when did he know it, it is more curious that it has refrained from pouring the same resources into an investigation of former President Barack Obama and Obamagate. Unless, of course, it isn't curious at all, which it doesn't seem to be. In fact, I wish I could find it. I can't. I'm looking for an archived copy of the Washington Post fact check of President Trump's letter to the WHO from the other day. President Trump wrote this scathing letter to the WHO, full of facts. I'm telling you, just full of facts. And the Washington Post decides to fact check this letter, and it was just a gem. I heard Monkey talking about it earlier this morning. I didn't catch the whole thing, but it was unbelievable amount of bullshit. It has to be an archived copy because I refuse to pay for the Washington Post. Let's see here. Going back to the coronavirus thing.
China is asshole.
There's a problem with some of these lockdowns that I don't think people are talking about enough, and I thought this story was pretty interesting. Relapses are through the roof, overdoses are through the roof, how the pandemic is upping substance abuse. This is not good, okay? It's funny because when President Trump was talking about this in one of the press conferences weeks ago, saying that, yes, we need to figure out how the lockdowns can be done safely, but we can't do it forever because you're going to cause bigger problems with the lockdowns than you are with the actual virus itself. The cure, what did they say? The cure can't be worse than, I don't know what he said. The cure can't, I'm mixing up Joe Biden's thing, but the solution can't be worse than the cure. Anyway, this is a pandemic within a pandemic, according to addiction expert Tim Ryan, who's watched the coronavirus outbreak exacerbate the pre-existent opioid and mental health crisis with devastating effect. Ryan, the star of A&E's 2017 Dope Man special, is the founder of a Man in Recovery Foundation, which partners with Rehab.com, a former heroin addict. His mission is to assist others struggling with substance abuse. In a Friday interview, Ryan explained how the stresses of isolation and financial trouble brought on by the pandemic are worsening addiction, both by pushing new users to abuse substances and making it more difficult for recovering addicts to stay sober. Hey, if someone has either a link to Trump's letter to the WHO or to the archive of the Washington Post fact check of that, throw it in the chat. I want to check that out. I couldn't find it there. All right, in a Friday interview, Ryan explained how the stresses of isolation and financial trouble brought on by the pandemic are worsening addiction by pushing both new users to abuse substances and making it more I know I already read this, and making it more difficult for recovering addicts to stay sober. Rehab facilities are struggling to cope with the challenge of a viral outbreak, according to Ryan, who also said alcohol and fentanyl abuse seem to be especially prevalent as the nation stays home. What's happening is people need purpose. They need connection. They need fellowship, he told me. Now they're all alone, and it's heartbreaking. Ryan, and I've been fortunate. I haven't stopped doing anything because I'm in essential jobs. I see the same people at work. I'm moving around all the time. But man, I can't imagine. Like my mom in Omaha. Now she doesn't get out that much anyway because she's 90 years old. But when I talk to her, she goes, gosh, it's really boring. People can't come see me and whatnot, and so, it's just frustrating. Ryan also shared compelling advice for conserved loved ones and anyone personally struggling to stay sober during this painful and unusual time. A transcript of our conversation, lightly edited for clarity, is below. So this is rather than read this interview, I'm going to put this one in the chat. It's very interesting. And I think it's something that you should read, and right click that and save it for later. But yeah, the other problems from forcing people out, besides the economic problems, besides the fact that some people can't eat. Archived Weibo article. Renee, did you put it there somewhere? Okay, all right. The people that are, substance abuse, suicides, depression, all kinds of things. It's not just the virus, and it's not going to be good because a lot of people are not getting back to where they were even when we do open up some of these states or open up some of these businesses or whatnot. So, there's a lot more to it. All right. Well, let's see. Let's do the Richard Grenell one. There's my alarm for do I keep my time there? This is interesting. An article by Bruce Bauer, and they're dubbing Richard Grenell as America's gay hero. Fascinating way to put it, but anyway. If you told me a couple decades ago that leading conservative commentators would one day be celebrating an openly gay man as an American hero, I would have never believed it, but that's exactly what's happening now. The man in question, of course, is Richard Grenell, currently serving as both the U.S. ambassador to Germany and as acting director of national intelligence, and hence a member of the cabinet. It was under intense pressure from Grenell that the House Intelligence Committee on May 7th released the transcript of 53 interviews conducted privately in connection with the probe into President Trump's alleged Russian ties. In those interviews, former members of the Obama administration, several of whom had publicly insisted on cable news shows and elsewhere that there was firm evidence of collusion between Trump and the Kremlin, swore under oath that they were unaware of any such evidence. And it was Grenell who 4 days later declassified the list of Obama administration officials who, in the interval between the 2016 election and the Trump inaugural, requested the unmasking of Lieutenant General Michael Flynn, Trump's choice for national security advisor, so they could listen in on his phone calls. When Grenell made that list public 2 days later, he immeasurably aided the effort to get to the bottom of the plot against Trump, now known as Obamagate. It was a brilliant move, wrote Stephen Cruiser about Grenell's decision to release the list. Grenell ain't playing. it's a thing of beauty the way he's handling the left. Not all heroes wear capes. On his podcast, Dan Bongino, author of the two definitive books about Obamagate, which he has dubbed Spygate, called Grinnell terrific. On Sebastian Gorka's radio show, Victor Toensing, also an expert on Obama administration perfidy, said, "Thank God for Rick Grinnell." Gorka, who briefly served in the Trump White House, replied, "Bless him, he's working hard to get the truth out." No, it doesn't matter that Richard Grinnell is gay, but at the same time it does, partly because few people still need to learn that not all gays are pedophile socialist drag queens, but mostly because of the fact that a gay man plays a key role in the Trump administration drives the left absolutely nuts. Anyway, let's see, which results in such laughable excuses for journalism as the lengthy profile of Grinnell by Eric Kirschbaum that appeared in the Los Angeles Times on February 25th. It focused largely on Grinnell's activities in Berlin, where he's called on German firms to stop commerce with Iran and pushed Angela Merkel, her government, to spend more on defense. Take back an old Nazi from the U.S. and ban Hezbollah. The thrust of the story was that Grinnell's tough posture on these and other issues had ruffled German feathers, which Kirschbaum characterized as unwise, because Germans have long held the United States and the U.S. Embassy in high regard. Ha! You can hardly come up with a more bald-faced lie. Anyone remotely familiar with the situation knows that Germany has long been the most anti-American country in Western Europe. A few months ago, a survey showed that only 35% of Germans viewed the U.S. positively, and that Germans now have more trust in China
Is asshole.
than the United States. Are we supposed to believe that Kirschbaum doesn't know this? Marty, look at the link at the WHO. Where is that link? Did you send it to me? I don't see a link here. So look at the link to archived. Oh, did the link not show up? I don't see it. That's why. Look at the link to the WHO. Did you send it to me by how did you send that to me? Let's see, was Renee Mayette? Who sent that to me? Try that again. Try that again. Thank you, Small Man. That's another new name. Good morning. How you doing? Hey, Small Man. How you doing? I don't see a link. Renee Mayette. It says archive WAPO article, but it doesn't show up on the chat, so I'm not sure. Here, I tell you what, Renee Mayette. Let me do this. Will you try it again when I'm going to do this? Let's make you a mod. We'll give you a wrench. And now you should be able to post a link in the chat without me having to go back and approve it. So if you can do that, that would be great. All right, now back to this article here. And then we're going to check that out next. All right. To bolster this mendacious point, Kirschbaum quoted fellow hack Christine Hoffman as saying that Grinnell hasn't accomplished a thing with his blustering approach and rude attacks. Where does Hoffman work? At the news magazine Der Spiegel. And what is Der Spiegel famous for? To quote James Kirchick, peddling crude and sensational anti-Americanism, and specifically for being busted in 2018 for publishing over a dozen pieces of fabricated reportage whose purpose, as Kirchick put it, was to reveal America's brutality. Not that Kirschbaum mentioned any of this. Okay, but I don't see the put the link. I need the link to the or is it not? I wonder if that's illegal. I don't know. Anyway, as for Hoffman's claim that Grinnell hasn't accomplished a thing in Germany, the inconvenient truth is that he has been winning on one front after another. German firms did cut ties with Iran. Merkel's government did hike its defense budget. She took that old Nazi off our hands. And yes, Hezbollah got banned. Yay! There we go. Kirschbaum actually admits all this, but not until well into the article. It's called Burying the Lead. After having spent his opening paragraph sounding the alarm about Grinnell's feather ruffling and trying to sell the preposterous fantasy that U.S.-German relations had been harmonious before he came along. The salient point about Grinnell's stint in Germany is that he's exactly what the German-American relationship has needed for a long time. Germans, or at least German elites, have always looked down on America's rubes and boors, but after we crushed their evil empire in 1945, they kept a low profile for a couple decades, whereupon the war in Vietnam gave them an excuse to climb back on their high horse. After that, the contempt ran deeper than ever because whatever their pretensions, they knew we were a superpower and they weren't, and that was for them an unbearable thought. Their chronic lust for power was satiated by the transformation of the common market into the EU, which gave German leaders the vast continental empire they always wanted. Yeah, that was without a shot, wasn't it? Anyway, while consolidating powers over that empire, Germans have treated their sometimes conqueror and longtime protector, the U.S., with increasing disrespect, welshing on NATO debt and ignoring U.S. concerns about their dealings with Iran and Russia. More than any American envoy before him, Grinnell, with Trump's backing, has called them on the carpet for this, put them in their place, knocked them off their perches. As Victor David Hansen has put it, Trump did not create the wound with Germany. He simply tore off the scab, exposed and poked at what was long festering beneath. They can't stand it, but they have to take it because they know it's what's what and who's who. It's good for them. It's good for the world. As we learned in 1939, you can't appease these people. Damn, that's some rough editorializing there. And another detail omitted from Kirschbaum's profile from other articles depicting Grinnell as a bull in a china shop. In 2015, WikiLeaks released documents showing that the Obama administration had tapped Merkel's cell phone, unleashing a now apparently forgotten diplomatic squabble. Wait, what? Funny how the leftist media treat Grinnell pushiness as worse than Obama's spying. Yeah, they were. He had the CIA monitoring Angela Merkel. It was terrible. And what was the barely veiled digs at Trump in Merkel's Harvard commencement address on May 30th of last year? Just imagine the furor, suggested Hansen shortly afterward, if Trump had gone to Germany and held a speech attacking Merkel's disastrous solar and wind energy policies, disastrous open border immigration dictates, disastrous subversion of NATO by her deliberate reneging on past promises on defense investments, and then without saying a word, Merkel calling her an abject liar, or without saying the word Merkel, calling her an abject liar for breaking her promises. Why is it okay for Merkel to slam Trump with impunity in his own country, but outrageous for Grinnell to make reasonable demands that her government live up to its obligations? So much for the Kirschbaum Funhouse portrait of Grinnell. On March 4th, it was the turn of Elizabeth Williamson and Kenneth P. Vogel of the New York Times to kick him around. Suffice it to say that their profile was of a piece with Kirschbaum, although with an extra touch. Featured prominently in it were comments by an Obama official calling Grinnell dishonest. Which Obama official? Why, none other than Susan E. Rice. Oh my God. One of the select group whose closed-door house testimony about Trump and Russia turns out to have flatly contradicted what they told in the media. Then there's former Times foreign reporter David A. Andelman, who on February 20th, after Trump named Grinnell to the Intelligence Post, wrote at a CNN website, "Please, Mr. President, rethink this one. Grinnell," insisted Andelman, "is a catastrophe in waiting who will be in a position he's totally unqualified to hold, one that is central to America's national security." Yeah, and he's exposing some of you assholes. Well, he's certainly proving to be a catastrophe for the corrupt deep staters who've used their power in the U.S. intelligence community to destroy their political enemies. Anyway, I'm not going to read the rest of this. I'm going to put that one in the chat too if you want to read the rest. But anyway, It's funny that no one mentions that Grinnell is our first gay director of national. What is it? He's the DNI director of national intelligence. Even though he's temporary, I would. You know, what'd be awesome. I would think it would be just awesome if President Trump said, "You know what? I know you're the temporary. What is it? Is it DNI? Is the DNI right? Let me see. Acting Director of National Intelligence. Yeah, he's the acting DNI Director of National Intelligence. Would it just be awesome if President Trump said, you know what? I know you're just the acting Director of National Intelligence, but perhaps we should find a new ambassador to Germany and make you the permanent Director of National Intelligence for the rest of my term, because I think you're doing a fine job." Oh my God. I can see the heads exploding right now as I speak on the Morning Night Live. By the way, hey gang. I see Shia Grass in the chat. How you doing, my brother? If you, by the way, this is one of those reminders. This is weird. Okay, I'm going to refresh this for a second. My stream here says that I only have 2 viewers. And that makes no sense whatsoever. I mean, there's 40 people here. This is one of those times where I remind you, hey, hit the like button and share the stream. And if you're watching on a replay, please make a comment in the comment section so that I know you were here. I always appreciate that. And let's get into it's time, by the way. It is time. I didn't realize I was running in this, even though my alarm went off. It is time for Twitter Trends. So it's a good time to find out what people are talking about, what things you might see videos about later in the day. I have a message. Oh, here. Oh, this from okay. Thank you. Oh, you sent me a link. No wonder. House bill and over. What House bill is that? I'm going to find out what that is. Okay. Thank you, Renee Mayad. This letter is fantastic. Here's the archive. Check your twat inbox. Oh, twatter inbox. Yes, I just did that. I see that. So I was going to do Twitter Trends, but I think I'd rather, hopefully this comes up. It's not coming up right now for some reason. If this comes up, that's what we're doing. All right, I'll let that work. Let's see what's trending on Twitter real quick, and then we'll get to this. We'll finish with that letter and the Washington Post fact check, so to speak. Oh my God, it's brutal and it's embarrassing. And hopefully, let's try this again. Gosh, why isn't this coming open here? Let's try it again. All right, we'll see if that comes up. Anyway, also another quick thank you to Necrosol Collins and Chi-Town J, you already did that. This says 2 notifications. Oh, I see. Thank you, Necrosol Collins, for also retweeting the show. Please share, retweet, follow me on Twitter, retweet, repost, Minds, Gab, wherever you go. Although Gab is down. I just realized that. I couldn't post it on Gab this morning because Gab was having problems. Okay, and it's loading. It may take a while for archive. So let's check out the Twitter Trends real quick, and then we'll come back to that. So on the Explore tab is something different today. It's not coronavirus. Oh my God. It's actually something about Disney bundle promoted shit. It's an advertisement, so fuck that. Anyway, COVID-19. Apparently the UK government accused of not protecting care homes as deaths increase. Sounds kind of like New York. Anyway, deaths in British care homes, what they would call nursing homes over there, I believe, have doubled according to research by Sky News, as the government admits that patients were discharged back to homes without being tested for COVID-19 in order to protect the NHS. Yeah, you know how everyone is, oh yes, we should have government-run healthcare. Well, I don't know how that works out so well. I mean, let's put it this way. COVID-19 doesn't give a fuck what your healthcare situation is. It's a virus. It don't know. It can't spell. It can't read. And it doesn't know what your policy says. And it doesn't even know what your government's doing. It just does what it does. So anyway, I'm going to skip all the COVID shit. Let's go into actual trends today, which means I gotta. They changed where trends go. It's all pain in the ass. Here we go. Trending number 1 is rest in peace, Shad Gaspard. Body found on a beach, identified as former WWE star Shad Gaspard. Authorities confirmed. Wow, I'm not particularly familiar with this. Oh, there we go. Okay, now let's see. This is the archive. Can I get the... Let's see. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dana Milbank's such an asshole. Oh my god. Sherrod Gaspard, former WWE star. Dan Brooklyn, we took an L today. Wrestling fans, we took an L today. Found dead at age 39. It doesn't seem to say how it's happened. Let's see. Oh, this is the guy who saved his son swimming and got pulled out by a riptide. And so they found his body. Oh my gosh. Saved his son, saved his store from robbery, treated everybody with positivity and respect. What else is the definition of a perfect human being? What a hero. What a father. You'll be greatly missed, Shad. Rest easy in the wrestling heaven. Yeah. He died a hero, saving his son's life. As a parent, there's no words even to explain that. He was really positive and funny guy every time we spoke. Good dude. This is Taz, he's a former wrestler and wrestling commentator. Prayers for his family during a horrible time. Wow. So yeah, rest in peace, Shad. So that's sad. Okay, moving on. Trending number 2, Wednesday Wisdom. I'm going to skip a lot of these today. National Rescue Dog Day. Yes, I personally have 2 rescue dogs. If you're thinking about getting a pet, particularly a dog, consider going to a rescue organization and getting a rescue dog. Dogs who have been, just you never know how they end up in that situation. I've been fortunate that every dog that we've had has been a rescue dog, and we've been very lucky and had very fine pets, and it's a good day for that. In fact, they'll probably show a couple pictures of people and their rescue dogs. She's a strange little brown dog, but she provides so much love to everyone, at least to the people she's not afraid of. Yeah, sometimes rescue dogs are skittish. In fact, Lucky, are the smaller dog. The one that I call named the studio after, Lucky Dog Studios, is named after my dog Lucky. She's a little bit skittish still, even though we've had her for almost 8 years now. But we think that she was abused when she was, before we had her. And then Clifford is was a stray dog that some gas station had, and there you go. So anyway, lots of people showing pictures of their dogs. National Rescue Dog Day. Great idea. Applications. Trump threatens to withhold Michigan's federal funding. Oh, this is interesting. I'll click the article. Trump threatens to withhold Michigan's federal funding over vote by mail. President Donald Trump threatened to withhold Michigan's federal funding after its Secretary of State, Jocelyn Benson, announced that all state residents would receive applications for absentee ballots, allowing them to vote by mail. Trump and Republicans have repeatedly disparaged vote by mail options in response to criticism from voting rights advocates who expressed safety concerns during the coronavirus pandemic. And in a tweet earlier this morning, he alleged the step was done illegally and would encourage voter fraud. Breaking, Michigan sends absentee ballots to 7.7 million people ahead of the primaries and general elections. The president tweeted, "This is done illegally without authorization by a rogue Secretary of State. I'll ask to hold up funding to Michigan if they want to go down this voter fraud path." There's going to be a lot of arguments about that. I wouldn't be surprised if that is their goal, though. They want some voter fraud. Anyway. Willie 44, what's up? How you doing? Okay. Oh wait. Anyway, this guy's cool as hell. Needs more subs and more viewers. Well, thank you, Willie. I appreciate that. All right. Crime time trending, and I think that has to do with Shad Gaspard, a great wrestler back in the day with Crime Time, one of my favorite tag teams around. This man died saving his son. Ultimate sacrifice, died here. Yeah, that is such a sad story. He got caught out in the tide, but he did save his son. Very, very sad. We'll skip Wednesday Motivation Day. Obama runs today. Now, this one's funny because I checked this out early this morning, not knowing what the F this was about. And apparently some dude some young dude was talking about Obama runs, and it got trending because everyone's tweeting about it. Apparently, and it's interesting because now some people, okay, this person is a hashtag hoe, I believe. No one's outraged about Obama runs. Oh, this is just some guy. This is a derangement syndrome. Obama waking up, seeing Obama runs trending. This is the pack cover for Obama runs. Obama runs. Is that some new kind of kush? That shit sounds like some fire. And it is. It was someone talking about Obama pot. And unfortunately, and it's just laughed because no one knows what the hell it's talking about, but a lot of people talking about it. And here's where it started. This kid right here talking about Obama runs, which is a type of pot.
Boy, nigga walk around Magnolia talking about he got Obama runs. I ain't never heard of no Obama runs today in my life. I ain't even know Obama condone shit like that. And he got on a fat ass 4PL chain. I don't know if he little baby bit homie or what, but the only boy nigga walk around.
Yeah, if you don't understand what he's saying nigga walking around Magnolia talking about he got Obama runs. I ain't never heard of no Obama runs in a day in my life. I ain't even know Obama condoned shit like that. He got on a fat ass 4PF chain. I don't know if he little baby big homie or what, but be on the lookout. Obama runs is a somebody named a variety of marijuana after Obama, and that's what Obama runs are. So anyway, so there's all kind. Here it is right here. To vanilla folk on Twitter, Obama runs is confusing. Runts is a strain of cannabis, or as many of y'all call it, devil's lettuce, reefer, weed, skunk, perp, skirp, marijuana, Mary Jane, big green, kush, THC, the sticky, loud, dank, ganja, and my favorite, alligator cigarettes. Oh, but did they put Rick James' song, Mary Jane? Do you love me, Mary Jane? No, anyone remember that song by Rick James? That was about Obama runs. Well, not Obama. Now, some moron. Oh, but then again, of course, if the word Obama or Trump comes up, Ms. Krasenstein tweets about it. Of course, that would be Brian Krasenstein or his uglier twin brother, tweeting under the name of one of their wives, says, Trump supporters are so ignorant, they think making Obama runs trend on Twitter is going to hurt Joe Biden. I'd take Obama runs over Trump Adderall and Trump hydrochloroquine any day of the week. Well, you know what, Ms. Krasenstein? Knock yourself out. No, I don't mean figuratively. I mean literally, knock yourself the fuck out, please. All right, moving on. That's what Obama runs is about. Moving on. We got Midland. I don't know why Midland's Midland. Oh, something. Bloomberg says Midland County, Michigan is in a state of emergency after 2 dams burst. Oh, did you see this? This is really sad. And hopefully, if you're anywhere near Michigan, please be careful, get the hell out of the way and stuff. Michigan Governor Gretchen Whitmer has declared a state of emergency for Midland County after both the Edenville and Sanford dams breached following heavy rains across the state. She also urged immediate evacuations for thousands of people. It's really scary. Now Amanda Carpenter. Oh Lord. Okay, Amanda Carpenter. You see, Trump with the absentee ballot tweet kind of got Amanda Carpenter going off, and we're in the middle of a pandemic. Dams are breaking in Midland and flooding people out of their homes. He's threatened to hold up funding because he's afraid people will vote against him with mail-in ballots. Stop this madness. Shut up. But you know, it is. And other people, a literal dam just broke through Midland, Michigan, causing massive flooding. And Trump today is threatening to hold up funding to Michigan because the state is making it easier to cast absentee ballots. This man is trying to lose the state. I don't, it probably not timely. He's probably thinking about what's going on in Midland County. So I can see their point there this time. Trump doesn't always think before he tweets. Congratulations, Tiffany, August D2, Jeff Rosenstock, don't care, Patrick Chung, someone in the NFL, Sears Tower. Somebody had so apparently, the Sears Tower in Chicago, it used to be the tallest building in the world. There's been a couple that surpassed it now, but for some reason they changed the name to the Willis Tower because some company bought it, but nobody calls it the Willis Tower. They still call it the Sears Tower. Tower is over 2020 like everyone else. Let's see. So, how weird does Sears Tower look without power? I don't know what that means. Something's going on where the power went out in the Sears Tower. The Sears Tower with the power out belongs in a horror movie. Okay, this is my last post about the Sears Tower. Apparently the whatever that is. Somehow the power went out in the Sears Tower. Don't call it the Willis Tower. What you talking about, Willis? Anyway, that was trending. And finally, let's see. Oh, the absentee ballot thing. Yeah, whatever. It's World Bee Day, as in bees, not as in you got to be the best you can be, but more like bees that, buzz around and make honey. Trump death toll 92K. Okay, that's trending because the hashtag activists are out today. All right, let's finish up with this Washington Post thing here. Those dams were in major disrepair before this as well, so it was bound to happen. Yeah, I've been hearing that too about that a little bit. So, kind of scary to be around there. All right, let's find. Let's see here. I want to find the fact check. Although, oh my gosh, we have Dana Milbank. Dana Milbank. What a terrible human being. Oh, this is if Trump likes hydroxychloroquine, he'll love camel urine. We've read our article today about chloroquine and how it's been used in the past, so I'm just gonna skip that article. Thank you, by the way, Renee Mayette, for sending this to me. I'm trying to find the fact check. Do they actually have? Okay, who wrote this? By the editorial board. New guidance on campus sexual assault is ill-timed. Why is it ill-timed? Oh no! It sent me the Washington Post. Oh, dang it! Well, that's not good. Let me see if I can. Let me see if I can fix this problem, or I may just have to wait for this one tomorrow because I'm running out of time here. Okay, here we go. Archive. There we go. Let's see if this one comes up faster. I cannot find this fact check. I know it's in my inbox. I just clicked the one in my inbox and it's not coming up, Renee Mayette, but I do appreciate it. And I really do appreciate it. So it just for some reason it's taking forever for that to pop up. This gave me the front page archives. Screenshot. Web page. Screenshot. That's not helping me. All right, here we go. Okay, here we go. This is the perhaps the dumbest fact check I've ever seen by Glenn Kessler, although he never ceases to amaze me. Here we go. And this is how we're going to finish up the show today. In previous administrations, a letter to an international organization signed by the U.S. president generally would have been carefully vetted and fact-checked. But President Trump's May 18th letter to the World Health Organization Director General Tedros Adhanom Ghebreyesus contains a number of false or misleading statements in it. Here's a sampling as well as a guide to some of his claims. Now, this is the Washington Post, who likes to track every lie. They have the lie tracker at the Washington Post, and so they have an interest in making sure that they continue to make that relevant. So here we go. Starting here. The World Health Organization consistently ignored credible reports of the virus spreading in Wuhan in early December in 2019, or even earlier, including reports from the Lancet Medical Journal. The World Health Organization failed to independently investigate credible reports that conflicted directly with the Chinese government's official accounts, even those that came from the sources within Wuhan itself. Glenn Kessler says. Richard Horton, the Lancet's editor-in-chief, said no such study existed. Oh my gosh, I actually have a copy of that study. Interesting. You cite the Lancet in your attack on WHO, Horton tweeted. Please let me correct the record. The Lancet did not publish any report in early December 2019 about a virus spreading in Wuhan. The first reports we published were from Chinese scientists on January 24, 2020. Okay, the report, let's see here. Okay, listen to this. Okay, the World Health Organization consistently ignored credible reports of the virus spreading in Wuhan in early December 2019 or even earlier, including reports from the Lancet report, I believe was after, but talked about how they knew this earlier. They had information as early as December 5th in the Lancet report. I have to find that one. In a fuller statement, the Lancet said Trump's reference to the alleged study was factually incorrect and no report was published in December 2019. The sentence in Trump's letter could have been imprecisely phrased. The January 24th Lancet study says that symptoms onset date of the first patient identified was December 1st, 2019. That's what I'm saying. It's an inartful phrase. I have a copy of that report. They continue. By no later than December 30th, 2019, the World Health Organization office in Beijing knew that there was a major public health concern in Wuhan. Between December 26th and December 30th, China's media highlighted evidence of a new virus emerging from Wuhan based on patient data sent to multiple Chinese genomics companies. Additionally, during this period, Dr. Zhang Zhizhong, a doctor from Hubei Province Hospital of Integrated Chinese and Western Medicine, told China's health authorities that a new coronavirus was causing a novel disease that was at the time afflicting approximately 180 patients. Now here's the fact check on this. He says doctors in Wuhan suspected person-to-person transmission of the new disease in mid-December to late December, and one company even completed genomic sequencing of the novel coronavirus on December 26, according to a Chinese media report. But the letter used a sleight of hand to suggest that Zhang knew at the time that 180 patients were sick. What? He says, oh my God. Anyway, it doesn't matter if Zhang knew that. On December 27th, Zhang Zhizhong, a doctor from Hubei Province Hospital of Integrated Chinese and Western Medicine, told Chinese health authorities that the disease was caused by a new coronavirus. Reported the South China Morning Post. By that date, more than 180 people had been infected, though doctors might not have been aware of all of them at the time. It doesn't matter if he was aware of all of them. So there's no factual incorrect information in that sense. Let's go on. By the next day, Taiwanese authorities had communicated information to the World Health Organization indicating human-to-human transmission of a new virus, yet the World Health Organization chose to not share any of this critical information with the rest of the world, probably for political reasons. Oh, really?
Chinese asshole.
He's absolutely right. This is in dispute? This is in dispute. Well, yeah, okay, whatever. I don't think so. On December 31st, the WHO was alerted to potentially new virus in China. Yeah, after a month. That same day, the Taiwan Centers for Disease Control said it sent an email to the WHO regarding rumors of at least 7 cases of atypical pneumonia, which it said is code in China for a disease transmitted between humans caused by coronavirus. Taiwan is not a member of the WHO, and the WHO says the email never mentioned human-to-human transmission. They would never admit that because they don't recognize Taiwan at all. Public health officials could discern from this wording that there was a real possibility of human-to-human transmission of the disease, the Taiwan CDC argues. However, because at the time there were as yet no cases of the disease in Taiwan, we could not state directly and conclusively that there had been human-to-human transmission. If you look at the Lancet study that I'm going to find and probably bring up it later, they knew of human-to-human transmission as early as December 6th. Apparently, Taiwanese officials had been alerted to December 30th post in a chat room by Dr. Li Wenlang, in which he said that 7 cases he had been treating resembled severe acute respiratory syndrome, or SARS, a deadly form of coronavirus. Li was reprimanded by the Chinese government for illegally spreading rumors. Yeah, they put him in jail. And later died of COVID-19, the disease caused by the novel coronavirus. Okay, there's nothing wrong with that paragraph that Trump wrote. The international health regulations require countries to report the risk of a health emergency within 24 hours, but China did not inform the World Health Organization of Wuhan's several cases of pneumonia of unknown origin until December 31st, 2019, even though it likely had knowledge of these cases days or weeks earlier. Some of their doctors were saying so. So this is the fact check. Human influenza caused by a new subtype is always supposed to be reported to the WHO within 24 hours. Trump has a point here. No, Trump was right, but he does not acknowledge that action from the WHO forced China's hand. Okay, but was he right? Yes. WHO headquarters in Geneva first learned about the outbreak in Wuhan not directly from Chinese authorities, but rather from the Program for Monitoring Emerging Diseases, ProMed, a US-based open-source platform for early intelligence about infectious disease outbreaks, according to a comprehensive timeline issued by the Congressional Research Service. Headquarters then asked the WHO China Country Office to request verification of the event from the government of China.
China is asshole.
WHO acted under regulations that it take into account reports from sources other than notifications by or consultations by countries. CRS noticed that it appears China may not have proactively notified WHO. Right? Isn't that what he's talking about? That China didn't notify them? What was his words? But China did not inform the World Health Organization of Wuhan's several cases of pneumonia of an unknown origin until December 31st. So basically, you're telling us, Glenn Kessler, that China did not inform the World Health Organization of Wuhan's several cases of pneumonia of an unknown origin. Somebody else did. How did that oh my God. There is strong evidence that Chinese officials were slow to act in response to reports from medical professionals starting in mid-December about a strange new disease. A bureaucratic culture that prioritizes political stability over all else probably allowed the virus to spread farther and faster, the Washington Post reported on February 1st. Well, that's great. So everything the president just said there was true. Duh. The president said, on January 14, 2020, the World Health Organization gratuitously reaffirmed China's now debunked claim that the coronavirus could not be transmitted between humans, stating preliminary investigations conducted by the Chinese authorities have found no clear evidence of human-to-human transmission of the novel coronavirus 2019 nCoV identified in Wuhan, China. This assertion was in direct conflict with censored reports from Wuhan. I'm afraid to read on. Trump here cites tweet by the WHO. But in a news briefing that same day, Maria Van Kerkhove, acting head of the WHO's Emergency Diseases Unit, told reporters, quote, from the information that we have, it is possible that there is limited human-to-human transmission, potentially among families, but it's very clear right now that we have no sustained human-to-human transmission, and it is still early days. We don't have a clear clinical picture. Okay? And, okay, that's a little more detailed than what the president said, but hey, did they not say it? Is there anything wrong with what he said? Doesn't matter if he, God. Oh, Lord. Van Kerkhove added, however, that human-to-human transmission would not be surprising given the WHO's experience with SARS, Middle East respiratory syndrome, and other respiratory pathogens. The Telegraph in Britain headlined its article on the news conference, WHO refuses to rule out human-to-human spread in China's mystery coronavirus outbreak. Doesn't change a thing about what he said there. Okay, moving on. On January 21st, 2020, President Xi Jinping of China reportedly pressured you not to declare the coronavirus outbreak an emergency. You gave in to this pressure the next day and told the world the coronavirus did not pose a public health emergency of international concern. Just over 1 week later, on January 30th, 2020, overwhelming evidence to the contrary forced you to reverse course. Yes, because in Vietnam, they did discover they had documented human-to-human transmission, and that's when the WHO changed their mind. Anyway, note the use of the word reportedly. Oh my God. Okay, let's be pedantic here. Trump appears to be citing a German news report that was based on German intelligence finding. The WHO has denied the report as unfounded and untrue. Of course they could. Yes, I know. They're not. Yes. Oh no. The WHO is going to go out and go, yes, we did submit to pressure from China. We're going to, of course they denied it. Duh. Noting, Dr. Tedros and President Xi did not speak on January 21st, and they have never spoken by telephone. Wow. So, let's see. Could they have possibly spoken via email? Could Xi Jinping have written a strongly worded letter? Could it have been by telegraph or Morse code? Are there other ways to communicate and put pressure on the WHO? What if, for chance, now notice what he says here. Tedros and Xi Jinping did not speak on January 21st. Now, does President Xi Jinping have to directly speak to somebody for China to put pressure on the WHO? Could it be a representative of Xi Jinping who could have spoke to Tedros or to someone in the higher ups in the WHO? Did it have to be a conversation directly between Xi Jinping and Dr. Tedros? Somebody answer me that question. I don't think so. They didn't speak on January, and they've never spoken by telephone. Wow, maybe they use Pony Express. Who knows? FedEx, DHL, who knows? This is stupid. The president says, on January 28, 2020, after meeting with President Xi in Beijing, you praised the Chinese government for its transparency with respect to the coronavirus, announcing that China had set a new standard for outbreak control and bought the world time. You did not mention that China had by then silenced or punished several doctors for speaking out about the virus and restricted Chinese institutions from publishing information about it. Nothing. Okay. So his fact check. Tedros certainly lavished praise on China at the time, even as evidence mounted that Chinese officials had silent whistleblowers in undercounted cases. But the same could be said about Trump in this period, who repeatedly praised China's transparency and handling of the outbreak. Now listen, this is so hilarious. This is hilarious because why do you think Trump would have praised China at any point during this time? Well, perhaps maybe because it was the information he was getting from the WHO, or the information the CDC was getting about the WHO, and they chose to believe the organization that the United States not only pays its dues for, but also gives it an extra $460 million a year above the dues for the WHO. So maybe they believed them, and now we're finding out maybe we shouldn't have believed the WHO. Holy crap! All these remarks he made praising China were after the WHO said something or made a statement about what China was doing. Holy shit. You also strongly praised China's strict domestic travel restrictions, but were inexplicably against my closing of the United States border or the ban with respect to people coming from China. I put the ban in place regardless of your wishes. Your political gamesmanship on the issue was deadly, as other governments relying on your comments delayed imposing life-saving restrictions on travel to and from China. Trump's so-called ban did not block all travel from China. No, he never said it did. It didn't say it blocked all ban from. Oh my God. He never said it did. It didn't block all travel to China, but only non-U.S. citizens with 11 exemptions. Okay, so the New York Times calculated that nearly 40,000 people traveled from China to the United States 2 months after Trump's imposed restrictions. Yeah, and they all had to have screening and all this other crap when they came in. And so supposedly they were supposed to self-quarantine. So what? Oh my God. Is this all true? Yes. The World Health Organization has cautioned against such travel restrictions, saying they are ineffective against the virus and in the long run are counterproductive. Trump, according to news reports, was initially skeptical and worried about provoking China after signing a major trade deal, but his national security and public health experts convinced him that the move would buy time and put in place effective prevention and testing measures. Okay? You mean he followed his advisors? He followed the scientists? He did what they said? I thought he doesn't do that. Good God. As for Trump's claim that WHO's skepticism about travel restrictions preventing other countries from taking action, we have previously calculated that 38 countries imposed similar or tougher restrictions on travel from China before or at the same time the U.S. restrictions were in place. Okay, 38 countries out of 190 countries that the virus is causing problems in. 38 out of 190. What about the other? How many would that be? 140, 142? What about the other 142 countries? On March 33, 2020, the World Health Organization cited Chinese official data to downplay the very serious risk of asymptomatic spread, telling the world that COVID-19 does not transmit as efficiently as influenza, and that unlike influenza, this disease is not primarily driven by people who are infected but not yet sick. China's evidence, the World Health Organization told the world, showed that only 1% of reported cases do not have symptoms, and most of those cases develop symptoms within 2 days. Tedros did not say this at his March 3rd briefing as part of the presentation of the ways COVID-19. Okay, I can't. Okay, that's the end of it. Whatever. I'm done. Anyway, I'm gonna put the archive in the chat. Hopefully it'll show up this time. Okay, there you go. If you want to read that yourself and pull your own hair out. That's it for today, people. I gotta go. I didn't realize I went I went way over the time today, which I do sometimes. That means you got bonus program, but hey, that's how it goes at the Morning Night Live. Thank you for being here today. If you haven't already done so, please hit the like button on the way out. Every bit of interaction is certainly appreciated and helps with YouTube. Maybe someday YouTube will actually put my name and my video next in line for one of the things you're watching. So just check that out. Also, if you'd be so kind, share the stream, do all that stuff. And if you'd like to help us out financially, help me out financially, that's whatever. Throw some in the tip jar or whatever you do there. Thanks, everybody, but I really do gotta go. Normally, I would be much more verbose in my goodbyes, but that's it for today. My name is PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here. Bye. Hey, this is PDawg Knight, and thank you for watching today on the PDawg Knight channel. If you have an observation or remark you'd like to make about this video or my channel, I absolutely welcome you to write it in the comments section down below. I really look forward to hearing from you. And before you go, if you like what you saw but you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit the subscribe button and definitely click that bell that pops up afterward so you'll be notified when I post new videos or when we go live. I broadcast my live show, The Morning Night Live, Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. A special thank you to all supporters of this channel who share our videos on social media and who make donations through the Streamlabs link, which is also in the description down below. Thanks again, and until next time, I'm PDawg Knight, and I'm out of here.